Hello everyone, today I'm going to tell you a story that's as strange as it is funny, and yes, it's absolutely real. It's about an ancient Egyptian man who did something no one expected. He sued a ghost. Not for haunting his house or scaring his pets, but for something much more personal, theft. So get comfortable, close your eyes if you like, and let's drift back thousands of years into the warm sands of Egypt, where even the dead weren't safe from the law. Section 1, A Dusty Scroll and a Stranger Discovery ***. Imagine it's a warm Egyptian evening, some 3,000 years ago. The sun has dipped behind the dunes, the Nile gently laps at its own banks, and everyone in the village of Wazit, modern-day Luxor, is preparing for a quiet night. But inside a modest house made of mud brick, a man named Kenna is pacing the floor. Kenna is upset. Very upset. He isn't mad at a neighbor. He's not even mad at his wife, who just reminded him again to fix the leaky roof. No, Kenna is furious, at a ghost. A literal ghost. You see, Kenna had recently discovered that something very dear to him had gone missing, his prized linen, the finest piece he'd ever owned. He looked under his bed, in his storage jars, even behind the statue of Batet in the corner. Gone. Completely vanished. And he was sure, positively, absolutely sure, that a ghost had taken it. So what did he do? Well, being an ancient Egyptian, and a law-abiding one at that, Kenna did what anyone would do in his sandals. He decided to sue the ghost. Section 2, A Culture of Contracts. Even in the afterlife ***. Now, to understand how truly delightful and bizarre this story is, you have to understand a bit about ancient Egyptian culture. The Egyptians took the afterlife very seriously. They believed that the dead could influence the living, sometimes helpfully, sometimes annoyingly, and sometimes like a stubborn cat who won't get off your scrolls. They also believed in order, called ma'at. And that included legal systems. You stole a goat? Court. You didn't pay your taxes? Court. You're a ghost who maybe stole someone's linen? Also, court. Section 3, The Formal Complaint ***. So, Kenna sat down, dipped his reed brush into ink, and started to write his official complaint on papyrus. And this wasn't some angry scribble. Oh no. It was formal, polite, and written like a proper letter, to the dead. Here's a very sleepy and slightly humorous paraphrase of what he wrote. To the spirit of Nabur. I hope the afterlife finds you well. I must inform you, with deep regret and annoyance, that you have taken my linen. I request that you return it immediately, or I shall escalate the matter to the gods. Yours, in mild fury, Kenna. He then marched to the local temple and handed the letter to a priest, who promised to perform a ritual to deliver the message to the other side. Imagine the scene. Incense, chanting, maybe a few confused birds, and one very annoyed man demanding his linen back, from a ghost. Section 4, A Peek into the Afterlife Court ***. Now, let's pretend we could peek into the afterlife, just for a moment. Picture a courtroom in the Field of Reeds, Egypt's version of heaven. The judge? A baboon-headed god. The scribe? Thoth himself, god of wisdom, taking notes with mild amusement. And who walks in? Nabur, a ghost with an ancient toga and a sheepish look on his translucent face. Did you take the linen? The god asks. I thought it was a gift, mumbles Nabur. The courtroom gasps. A fly buzzes dramatically. Somewhere, an afterlife pigeon coos. And then, a divine decree is made, return the linen or face eternal paperwork. Section 5, Linen Returns and Peace Restored ***. Back in the land of the living, Kenna goes to sleep one night after a long day of glaring at his laundry basket. And lo and behold, the next morning, the linen is back. Folded. Pressed. With maybe just a whiff of incense on it. Did the ghost return it out of fear? Guilt? Court order? We may never know. But Kenna was pleased. He made an offering of thanks, wrote a short poem, and, as any decent man in his time would, got a new padlock for his linen chest. Section 6. So. Did this really happen? Yes. Sort of. The story is based on a real letter discovered by archaeologists in Deir el-Medina, the workers' village for the Valley of the Kings. The letter was an appeal to the dead, essentially a ghost lawsuit, asking a spirit to stop bothering the living and return stolen goods. It wasn't just linen. Sometimes it was food, dreams, or even peace of mind. And that, dear listener, tells us something beautiful. Even 3,000 years ago, humans were writing strongly worded letters to things they couldn't see, asking for their stuff back. Section 7. Ghosts, then and now ****. We like to imagine ghosts as spooky or creepy. But in ancient Egypt? They were more like neighbors with boundary issues. Oh, sorry, I just borrowed your dreams for a few nights. Or, I thought you weren't using that plate. It's almost comforting. Because it makes the supernatural feel very human. Even if they float. Section 8. Lessons from Kenna ****. So what can we learn from our ancient linen lover? 1. Don't jump to conclusions, maybe it was the cat. 2. Communication matters even with the dead. 3. And if all else fails, write a really formal letter and deliver it via priest. You'd be surprised what comes back. Section 9. A final word from Kenna ****. If Kenna were here today, in the 21st century, he'd probably be the guy writing customer service emails like, Dear Sir/Madam, I would like to report a ghost-related incident with my Amazon package. And honestly? He'd get a refund. Section 10. Sleepy Thoughts ****. As you rest your head tonight, think of Kenna, sleeping peacefully in his little mud-brick home, surrounded by his belongings. Linen safely returned. Think of how even ghosts, when properly asked, might do the right thing. And how human worries, even in ancient times, weren't so different from our own. Now drift off gently, as the Nile flows on, the stars rise over Karnak, and somewhere in the afterlife, a ghost is folding laundry very, very carefully. Good night,